Welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm your host, Chief David Malloy, Director of Public Safety for the City of Novi. And on behalf of the 170 plus men and women that comprise the Novi Police and Fire Departments, we want to provide you with an update analysis of what our men and women are doing throughout the community. Proud to be joined here today by our Performance Management Analyst, Jason Porter, and Detective Mike Wilson. Gentlemen, welcome to Behind the Badge.
Thank you, sir.
Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about your education, your background, and the various assignments you've held with the Novi Police Department?
I went to Grand Valley State University, hired onto the department back in 1990, worked road patrol, eventually obtained a undercover assignment with our team called SANIC, did that for a couple of years, went into Novi High School for 6 years, and I've been in the Detective Bureau ever since.
Excellent, excellent. And Jason, a little bit about your background in education?
Yep, I went to Central Michigan University and got my bachelor's in science and criminal justice. And after that, I moved on and got a master's in science from Bowling Green State University. Shortly after graduation, I had the fortunate opportunity to apply for the Novi Police Department. And here I am as a public safety analyst. And I'm excited, and yeah.
What do you do on a daily basis, Jason? I know we use data to make a lot of our deployment decisions and a lot of our personnel decisions. What is it that you're looking at on a daily basis?
So on a daily basis, I look at all the crimes that we see in Novi. Anything from Part A crimes to traffic crashes to citations written by police officers. And what I like to do is I like to look at where they're happening and be able to map that so that we can deploy our resources to those locations. It's a more efficient way, it's a more accurate way to do things in law enforcement. It's been doing very well so far. So,
let's talk a little bit about the approach that we're taking to that data for crime and traffic safety. Explain a little bit about the program that we're using now.
Sure, it's called DDAX, and what it stands for is Data-Driven Approaches to Crime and Traffic Safety. And ultimately what it is a law enforcement operational model that uses traffic crash data and crime data. And what we do is we take that and we overlap it on a map, and we see where in our jurisdiction we see a lot of high-frequency crime and high-frequency crashes. And then what we do is we identify a time frame, and then we deploy those resources in those zones for that time frame. It could be day of the week and time of day. Ultimately, we put our officers in that zone. We use high-visible traffic enforcement in the hopes that we deter criminals from being in that zone. The premise is that a lot of criminals, they use a motor vehicle in the commission of a crime or to get to an area where they're going to commit a crime. So being highly visible is a way to deter potential individuals from committing crimes in that area.
I know one of the zones that we've had established for almost a year now, near 9 Mile and Hagerty. And what have we seen in terms of success there?
So in terms of success at 9 and Hagerty, we've seen a 69% decrease in our targeted crimes. And we've also made over, we've made over 429 contacts in that zone. So what that suggests to me is that with the increase in police contact that we've had in that zone for 50 weeks, we've definitely seen a correlation to the decrease in our targeted crimes.
So it's not just stopping cars, but it's also our men and women are high visibility, they're in the areas during the peak hours that those crimes are taking place, but they're also making contacts. If they see someone out on foot at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's something we need to check out, that's something we need to investigate. But also working with our neighborhoods, working with some of our apartment management associations also helps drive that down as well.
Correct.
And Detective, in terms of your caseload and some of the cases that you're seeing, I'm confident that you think the DDAX approach is good as well.
Seems to be working very well.
And what are you seeing in terms of criminal patterns in the area of your responsibility of investigations?
A recent success that we've had, we had a DDAC zone in the north end of our city at an apartment complex because we've been experiencing larceny from autos in that area. Officer was up there working the DDAC zone in between the hours and actually captured 3 individuals that were stealing tires off of a car.
Yeah, Officer Daisley did a great
Yes.
job with that. And most likely responsible for other thefts. He was able to take those subjects into custody. I believe they all confessed to the incident that they caught him doing. But you also had a recent success as well with some larceny from automobile complaints up near that same area off West Park and Pontiac Trail.
That was, yes, same area, breaking into cars, not stealing tires from cars. They were entering unlocked vehicles, taking whatever they could get once they got into the car. A homeowner had a video on his home and we were able to take that video and identify the people in the video. Actually, one of the suspect's mothers saw the video on Facebook that the homeowner put out.
Outstanding.
Called us, identified her son as being one of the people in the video. From there, we were able to get the other two, and all those confessed. That cleared up 5 cases that we recently had up there.
Excellent. And unfortunately, they were stealing to allegedly support a drug habit.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, safety is number one, but people have to realize Novi is a safe community, but I think sometimes people get lulled into this false sense that I can leave my purse in my car, I can leave my iPad, I can leave my laptop. What's the suggestions that you have?
That's our number one crime, for instance, is people breaking into cars, larceny from autos. And of all the ones we have, the vast majority of them, I would say 90%, are unlocked cars, and we can see on the video the bad guys walk up with a little flashlight, they look through the car. If they don't see anything, they move on. I've seen that on homeowners' videos. If they do see something, they open the car and reach in and grab it. So when I talk to people, I ask them to please keep everything out of your car, lock your car, don't keep anything of value in sight, take everything inside the house. If you have to have it in your car, keep it in your trunk where no one can see it.
Excellent, excellent. And I know, Jason, you talked about that 69% reduction in that DDAX zone at 9 and Haggerty. And when you say targeted crimes, what is it? We're talking about the major crimes. What are those crimes that are down 69%?
The targeted crimes include, like Detective Wilson here, larceny from automobile. We've got larceny in general, burglary, both residential and commercial, and motor vehicle theft.
So those are 4 of our main criminal activities, and they're down 69%.
Yes, correct, yep.
That's a great testament to not only your work, but also your intelligence, the data that you're putting out to our uniformed officers, our shift supervisors on the street who are ensuring that our officers are in those areas. And it's really an expanded directed patrol where I know when we first started the zone, we were doing it every day for several hours, but we've actually been able to narrow that down to 3-4 days a week during specific hours, and I think we've seen great success. Yep. So excellent, excellent. Well, we have to take a real quick break here, but when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the DDAX and some of the other crime prevention measures we have. So please stay tuned.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge. We are continuing to be joined here by our performance management analyst, Jason Porter, and Detective Mike Wilson. Jason, before the break, we talked a little bit about the DDAX and some of the successes we've seen. What have we seen in some of the other zones that we have set up throughout the city?
So another zone that we have is a traffic crash zone at 8 Mile and Haggerty. And we've been there for about 42 weeks. And in those 42 weeks, we've seen a reduction in traffic crashes by 39%. And ultimately, what we're doing in that zone is we're there between a specific hour of the day throughout the week. And just like our 9 Mile and Haggerty, we're there and we're targeting traffic crash violations, whether that's speeding, red light violations, improper lane use.
Distracted driving, I know, is a big one down there.
Correct. Yep. And ultimately, what we're trying to accomplish is being visible in that area to promote the idea that this area is highly enforced and to just drive safer, hopefully to reduce traffic crashes.
What are some of the results we've seen down there in those 42 weeks?
In 42 weeks, we've seen 480 contacts. We've written 203 citations. So we're up significantly since we've been in that zone. And prior to that initiative, we've only made 65 contacts and 22 citations. So you can see that inevitably with the higher contacts that we have, the more citations, the more the less traffic crashes we see in that zone.
Okay, and that's the number one goal.
Correct.
Not necessarily it's a citation. We just want to reduce traffic crashes, reduce the potential for someone to be injured. And what have we seen in terms of that reduction? Close to 44%?
Oh, yes. Yep. Close to 44%. Correct. Yep.
Okay, that's outstanding. And Detective, in terms of, I know you don't do a lot with traffic crashes, but knowing that there's a distinct correlation between the crashes and where the crime's occurring, that also helps you and your colleagues in terms of cases when you're following up on that. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the recent cases that you've seen, or some of the prevention tips that we could let the viewing audience know? I know you deal a lot in identity theft, burglary, garage doors being left open at night. Some tips that you can offer homeowners to keep that kind of harden that target, if you will?
Especially with leaving your garage doors open, simply shutting that garage door is going to help us out a lot. Turn your lights on around your house. Know your neighbors, know what time they're coming, they're going. If there's a problem in the area, it's been nice recently to talk to a lot of the different subdivision presidents I've been in touch with. They'll put an email out to the entire subdivision. We're having this type of problem, keep your eyes open. And we need help from the community. If you see someone suspicious, call us. Everyone I talk to is afraid to pick up the phone and dial 911. If you see a suspicious person at night, that's a 911 call. Call us, get us a card there, let's talk to that person and see what's going on.
And if it's nothing, let us figure out that it's nothing.
We get called for a lot least things that people don't realize.
Right. And that's part of the whole initiative that we have, not only in Novi, but nationwide. If you see something, say something. Let us determine if it's nothing, but perhaps sometimes it could be something. And it's those little tips that have helped catch not only major criminals, but also major terrorists. And I think that's one of our number one primary responsibilities. Jason, can you talk a little bit about where residents can go to sign up to receive crime data? They can go to our website at cityofnovi.org, but what do they need to look for and what do they need to click on when they get there?
Sure. Something that the Novi Police Department offers to its residents is crimemapping.com. And what it is, it's a user-friendly crime mapping software that has the ability to locate where recent crimes have occurred, so that the residents at their own discretion can make decisions on what they would like to do from there. But really, if you just visit our website, go to our police department tab and look for crime mapping and just go there, and all the answers should be.
And you can actually not only see where crimes have taken place throughout the community, but you can also sign up to receive alerts when things happen in your area.
Yep, correct. There's an email alert function on there. You put in your email address and you put in a radius around for example, your address. And I think once a day you can get an email alert for anything that pops up in that radius.
A couple other things that we would encourage the viewing audience to sign up for. We have Nixle, which provides real-time traffic updates, road closures, significant events that we might have. Follow the City of Novi on Facebook. You could receive a lot of good information there. So a couple other areas that we're really taking a look at and trying to get the word out. Jason, a couple other DDAC zones that we're having success up in the north end, Pontiac Trail and Beck area. Can you tell us a little bit some of the history there?
Yep. So this is an interesting zone. We just implemented this zone about 23 weeks ago. It's at Beck and Pontiac Trail, and we've seen great success right off the bat. Officers are doing a great job making contacts. We've seen over 800 contacts in 23 weeks in that zone, compared to 33 contacts for that same time frame prior to this initiative. We're down 18% in traffic crashes there, and we're up 309 citations since we've been there. So we're seeing great success in that zone for traffic crashes. Now, as far as targeted crimes in that zone, we're down 44% in that zone. We've made a total of 225 contacts since we've been there, and we've actually arrested 29 individuals since we've been in there. So we're seeing great success.
The case that Detective Wilson handled with the larceny from auto, and Officer Daisley handled with the gentleman that we're also we're in the process of stealing tires and rims. But I think we also had another case recently. Officer Kulikowski stopped a group of individuals for a simple traffic violation, and they were in possession of some materials, quite frankly, masks and weapons, where they were likely heading out to commit armed robbery somewhere.
That was actually in our 9 Mile and Haggerty zone. So that goes to show that no matter what zone that we're in, we are seeing great success with traffic stops.
Right, excellent. Anything else that you'd like to share with us? I know we talked about crime mapping. We talked about the data-driven approach. We continue to host our weekly CompStat meetings. Maybe share a little bit about that and what we're looking at.
Yeah, so every week we have a CompStat meeting, and what it is it's a meeting that we hold that we talk about a variety of different things, whether it's crime stats, whether it's fire stats, whether it's officer performance. So every week, DDEX, we discuss DDEX topics, but we also get into recent crime trends, and it's a good opportunity for information sharing. And it gets everyone on the same page, and it also offers maybe officers to come in and to attend to talk about their performances and what they see on the road.
Right. Detective Wilson, I know you've presented on several things. You report out on not only the crimes that you're following up on, but some of the trends that you guys see as investigators. I believe you were hosting an intelligence meeting this morning at police headquarters and sharing that information with who?
We share that with all area local detectives. We had detectives from several area departments. It covers a vast majority of miles, if you wanted to look at it that way. And we all talk what we're seeing, what they're seeing, cross-referencing information, and that really helps us investigate things.
Yeah, because I think the criminals, particularly like let's use Pontiac Trail and Beck as an example, they don't know whether they're in Novi, Wixom, Commerce, or Walled Lake. And for us to come together, and I know you also have stakeholders and partners at the table from the state police agencies, from federal agencies, so it's really a benefit to bring all those folks together.
It's a great benefit.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for appearing on Behind the Badge today, and thank you for everything you do to help keep Novi safe. You both are excellent, dedicated employers, experts in what you do, and on behalf of the viewing audience, I want to say thank you for everything you do. So,
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for being here. And to you, the viewing audience, continue to watch Behind the Badge, but most importantly, continue to watch Novi Television. Until next time, stay tuned.